From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Hannah Mordeau, and this is your News 8 Daily for Friday, February 20th. We had some troubling weather yesterday. Some pretty scary storms rolled through central Indiana, especially in the Bloomington area. We had reports of a tornado there. Here's Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey with a breakdown of what happened and what the weather's going to look like today.
Scary signature when that tornado warning was rolling through. It was pretty big, and we worried that there was going to be some significant damage. We do have some, obviously, that we'll be showing throughout daybreak here. The good news that we can pass along at 4 o'clock in the morning is severe weather threat is long gone. Yeah. But now we have a return to winter, and that's kind of where we're headed.
You know what's amazing, and I don't like to, we're not in the business of like bragging. That's not what we do. But I got so many text messages last night about our storm coverage and our weather team just being there the whole way, helping people kind of navigate that as well, because it is scary when you're in that moment.
Keith and Ryan and Steven held down the fort here, and some of the views that Drew Narsudas had with his drone last night are just unbelievable. So we'll be sharing those throughout the day. But again, we will kind of now, we'll dissect what happened. But again, the good news is severe weather threat's gone. But we start to feel the chill here pretty quickly here. And again, it's that fight of warm and cold air that causes severe weather. Now we're on the wrong side of that as this frontal system moves east. Showers now and some thunderstorms working through western Ohio. And we actually have a clean sweep on Storm Tracker here for this morning. Their cold front that triggered all of the severe weather is now moving east. The forgotten part of this, at least for us, was blizzard conditions on the cold side of this system. They are experiencing that in Nebraska, into Iowa right now, and into Wisconsin. Some of that snow is probably going to start working into northern Illinois and potentially even northern Indiana later today. For central Indiana, we're just going to start turning colder. We're at the warmest part of the day, 52. It is windy, and winds will be an issue. Southwest at 16. We're into the low to mid 50s pretty much across the state here this morning. We're starting to see some 40s sneak into northwestern Indiana. Gusts are up to 30 to 35 miles per hour in western Indiana. Those winds will increase, nearing 40 miles per hour as we get closer to lunchtime. It probably stays pretty gusty until at least later this evening. Like I said, we've already hit our high. By 10 o'clock, we're already slipping into the mid 30s, and then we'll bounce back to the upper 30s later on for this afternoon. And we're not done. It's going to get colder as we head into the weekend, so winter back in a big way, including maybe some snow chances, but it is short-lived. We do have a nice rebound eventually next week.
Authorities in Bloomington say there are no reported injuries as a storm tore through the city. Emergency responders say a bank, several homes, a car dealership, and the county airport were all damaged. Our team was in Bloomington and said there were power outages dotted throughout the city with power lines down and some repaired as the storm raged on. News 8's Tim Spear spoke to one person who saw a tornado hit the bank and put a woman's life in danger while all the person could do was watch from his truck.
Some heavy damage along 3rd Street in Bloomington, and one witness told me this is where the tornado touched down. We'll hear from him in a moment, but look at the aftermath. Just entire chunks of the building ripped off from the roof, from the awning. Part of that roof collapsed into the building, and there's the awning over the ATM as well. It collapsed, and I was told a woman was there when it happened. Now, as you go throughout the town, one of the things you just notice is the mass amount of power outages, big clusters of homes and businesses with the power out. Now, the man I talked to who was here at Fifth Third Bank, he was in a parking lot just behind the bank and said he saw this tornado when it came.
I looked over and you could see the tornado like coming, but I was frozen. And there was a woman like in a Kia. So I just held on and it like bounced off the ground and like flew over top of American Best. So once it flew over that, I ran over to try to help the woman, but there was electrical lines down. After I realized that she was okay, I just came back to my truck, man, and just waited. It was crazy. It was amazing. It was nuts, man.
Fortunately, he said that woman okay, and we have not heard reports of any fatalities. When he talked about it bouncing over America's Best, that's actually a store in a strip mall just behind the bank. Now, we also saw some homes that were damaged, one with a garage that was collapsed. Most homes that we saw, it was maybe some minor siding or some minor roof damages, but you did see where some people just didn't have great luck tonight. One of the things we have seen has been power crews out addressing the power lines and the power outages, trying to get that back online. And I will just say anecdotally, some of the places that we saw that were blacked out when we first drove in look to be powered back on. Some of the businesses, when we talk about a lack of luck, it wasn't even their building that got damaged. We saw at a Kia dealership, a neighboring warehouse, the roof had come off and flew right into its cars in the parking lot. Live in Bloomington, Tim Spears for Wish TV and wishtv.com.
We are getting several pictures and video in from the tornado and storm in Bloomington and across central Indiana. You can go to wishtv.com right now and see some of them. In Beech Grove, support for the city's police department is stretching beyond the station and into the city's storefronts. Businesses across downtown are replacing signs and windows honoring Officer Brian Elliott. News 8's Malia Van Ostrin reports.
From construction companies to local shops, business owners are using their windows as a canvas. One display reads, Officer Brian Elliott, end of watch 2/16/2026. People tell me they wanted to act quickly to show their appreciation for officers who patrol these same streets every day.
You can see that it's heavy around here. A lot of hearts are hurting, but we will come back stronger because we are Beech Grove. So, Hornet Nation, we'll get through anything. So.
Many say the loss feels especially heavy in a tight-knit area where officers regularly stop in, know people by name, and build relationships beyond the badge.
All the police officers are very active. They are great with our children and in the schools and doing other things in the community to help the residents.
Just down the block at Eckstein Shoe Store, the decision to make decals and post their signs and flags didn't take long.
The many things that people have done with whether it was painting their buildings or I made some stickers. It just is an amazing thing to see this community coming together for such a tragic thing that was just senseless and that shouldn't have happened, and the outpouring of love and support, and it's just been so emotional.
Kaufman says the connection the officers make with the community is what makes this loss hit differently. For many, the messages send a clear signal that the entire community stands behind its police department. Kaufman said she spoke to a few officers Wednesday night at the city's candlelight vigil.
They all said, we know this is why we love Beech Grove, and they know that to live in a community like this small net community where people are friends and your family and everybody just takes care of each other, they know that they can lean on us.
Eversole says she hopes the tributes bring just a small bit of comfort during a difficult time.
We're family. We're not just a community of friends. We are family.
I'm Malia Van Ostrin for Wish TV and wishtv.com.
State police say the funeral for Officer Elliott is going to be Monday at Beech Grove High School. The service will be open to the public and start at 11. A procession to Crown Hill will follow. If you can't make it to the funeral, a public visitation is happening on Sunday from 2 to 7 at the high school as well. A procession route has not been announced yet, but we will bring it to you on air and online at wishtv.com as soon as we learn it. Our coverage of fallen Officer Brian Elliott continues online at wishtv.com too. We have made it easy for you to find. If you go to our website, you're going to see the services this week, the latest on the investigation, and a way to donate to Officer Elliott's family. You can find it all right now at wishtv.com.
I'm surprised, dismayed, very disappointed at what I saw in a statement. Again, the Bears post that have said, well, we didn't really mean that they're moving to Indiana, which is kind of the implication.
That's Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker on the framework deal moving forward to bring the Chicago Bears to Northwest Indiana. State lawmakers advanced the bill to develop a new NFL stadium in Hammond yesterday. We brought that moment to you as the bill passed a committee yesterday on daybreak. If finalized, the state expects a significant economic impact, including tens of thousands of jobs. I-Team 8's Tim Spears has the details on the deal.
There's a shared commitment between both these parties to make this happen.
Hugs and handshakes for Hammond Mayor Tom McDermott after the Senate Ways and Means Committee unanimously advances a bill to help build a new stadium for the Chicago Bears here in the Hoosier State.
And I hear people all the time say, Mayor, these stadiums don't bring anything to the host community. And I said, I guess it really depends on your perspective.
There's been no renderings released like we saw in Gary, Indiana's pitch, but the Bears have made it known they want a mixed-use site with the stadium surrounded by restaurants, hotels, and housing.
We're going to make a Bearsville right outside of this stadium. It's going to be a whole separate city within the city of Hammond, and I think it's going to be absolutely transformational for my city.
If passed, Senate Bill 27 would establish the Northwest Indiana Stadium Authority, a new body with the power to finance and develop everything needed for an NFL stadium. Additional taxes in Hammond as well as Lake and Porter counties would cover the cost. The state would own the stadium. Then the Bears would sign a 35-year lease and invest $2 billion. The team saying in a statement, "We are committed to finishing the remaining site-specific necessary due diligence to support our vision to build a world-class stadium near the Wolf Lake area in Hammond, Indiana."
And I don't want to speak for the Bears. But I think the Bears are coming to Hammond, Indiana.
The father of State Representative Earl Harris Jr. of Lake County tried to bring the Bears to Northwest Indiana in the 90s, and Harris has helped revitalize the effort in recent years.
So the amount of people that have said to me, we thought you were crazy 3 years ago when you started talking about this, have now come back and said, you know what, you were right. You had the vision. Your father had the vision.
He points out George Halas, the founder of the Chicago Bears, actually started his professional football career as a player with the Hammond All-Stars in the 20s.
So when you talk about the Chicago Bears coming to Hammond, they're really just coming home.
Fans calling Chicago sports radio stations feel differently.
I think it's a disgrace to the team, to the state, to the city, to the fans. There's no reason they should be playing in Hammond. It's the Chicago Bears. It's not the Hammond Bears.
The Bears still own land in Arlington Heights, Illinois, where it's lobbied for incentives on a new stadium. The Deputy Chief of Staff for Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, writing on social media, Illinois was ready to move this bill forward. After a productive 3-hour meeting yesterday, the Bears leader requested that ILGA pause the hearing to make further tweaks to the bill. This morning, we were surprised to see a statement lauding Indiana and ignoring Illinois. Now, all signs suggest the deal to get the Bears across state lines is at the goal line.
Indiana's got the best offer on the table. We got the best business environment. Why would the Bears walk away from a better deal?
From the State House, Tim Spears for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
The lawmakers did not vote on a major immigration enforcement bill yesterday. The legislature is set to reconvene on Monday after a recess. News 8's government reporter Garrett Berquist explains how the bill could affect employers and schools.
State House Republicans in both chambers have worked on the bill for more than a year.
The biggest piece of this bill is having our local law enforcement step into the shoes, if you will, of the federal and government to help enforce these laws and to make sure that they're doing it properly. We expect to see them working side by side.
All governmental bodies would have to comply with immigration detainer requests. They also would have to notify a judge in writing. Employers could not recruit, hire, or employ anyone who is not authorized to work in Indiana. And the Department of Correction would work on training requirements for county jails on how to deal with immigration cases.
Some of these have been small town police, small county jails. This is a whole separate area of training that they're not familiar with. We are happy to help, but we need to make sure we're doing it properly. So Department of Corrections has assured me they already do this training with their own officers. They know how to do it.
Republicans say schools are among the governmental bodies that would have to comply with any immigration requests. They say that doesn't actually change much policy. Democrats say that means the bill turns almost every government agency into an extension of ICE. They say it will lead to racial profiling.
For the first time in Indiana history, teachers, doctors, local officials, and police could face penalties. Not could, they will face penalties in how they handle federal immigration enforcement issues, even if they did not knowingly violate the law. And our schools need to be spaces where parents know that all kids are safe, that their child is safe. But when one kid is unsafe, that whole classroom, that entire school is going to be unsafe.
The bill already passed both chambers. A concurrence vote in the Senate accepts the changes the House made and sends the bill directly to Governor Mike Braun. At the State House, I'm Garrett Bergquist for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
To the Winter Olympics now, the U.S. women's hockey team won its third gold medal by beating Canada 2-1. The U.S. has cemented itself as one of the most dominant women's hockey teams to take the ice. Hillary Knight appeared in her last ever Olympics and forced overtime with a goal. Megan Keller's backhander 4 minutes into the overtime secured the gold. The U.S. now has an 8-game winning streak over Canada. Let's take a look at the medal count. Norway is still in the lead with 34 and 16 gold. Team USA now is in second place with 27 medals and 9 gold. And Italy is trailing behind with 26 medals and 9 gold. Some sad news this morning. Eric Dane, the actor best known for his roles in Grey's Anatomy and Euphoria, has died. His representatives say he died yesterday from Lou Gehrig's disease, less than a year after he announced his diagnosis. His big breakout role was Dr. Mark Sloan, who fans dubbed McSteamy on Grey's Anatomy from 2006 to 2012. He also played HBO's Euphoria, a role continued up until his death. In 2025, Dane announced he had ALS, which is a progressive disease that attacks the nerve cells through the body. He also became an advocate for ALS awareness. Eric Dane was 53 years old. This has been your News 8 Daily. From Wish TV, I'm Hannah Mordeau. Watch us on Wish TV and WishTV.com.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go, connect with Wish TV on Facebook at WishTV.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.
I earned my degree online at Arizona State University. I chose to get my degree at ASU because I knew that I'd get a quality education, they were recognized for excellence, and that I would be prepared for the workforce upon graduating. To be associated with ASU, both as a student and alum, it makes me extremely proud, and having experienced the program, I know now that I'm set up for success. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.